He knew something was wrong the moment the hotel staff congratulated him on surviving the night. They said it casually, smiling. "Congratulations, sir. Not everyone makes it through their honeymoon here." Daniel laughed because that's what you do when something sounds like a joke, but isn't delivered like one. Beside him, Clara squeezed his hand. Her grip was colder than it should have been. The hotel sat alone on a cliff overlooking a black, restless sea. No neighboring buildings, no nearby town, just a narrow road that disappeared into fog. It had seemed romantic in the photos, dramatic, private, cinematic. Now it felt cut off from the world. The first night had been perfect in the way new marriages try to be. Awkward laughter, too much wine, the soft hum of wind pressing against tall windows. They fell asleep to the distant rhythm of waves crashing below. Daniel woke at 2:17 a.m. to silence. Not the ordinary quiet of a remote place, something heavier, as if the air itself were listening. Clara wasn't beside him. He sat up slowly, eyes adjusting to the faint blue light leaking through the curtains. The bathroom door was open, dark inside. "Clara?" he whispered. No answer. The suite felt larger in the dark, the ceiling higher, the corners deeper. He found her standing near the window, staring out at the ocean. "You okay?" he asked. She didn't turn around. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" That voice. Daniel forced a smile. "Just the wind." She finally faced him. Her expression was distant, not frightened. Not exactly. More like she was trying to remember something. "It sounded like you," she said softly. "Calling my name from outside." A chill threaded down his spine. "I was asleep." She studied him a second too long before returning to bed. Neither of them slept after that. The next day, things felt normal again. Almost. They explored the cliffside path behind the hotel, took pictures, tried to shake off the unease of unfamiliar surroundings. Daniel blamed it on stress. Weddings are chaos. Travel is exhausting. But Clara kept drifting. At lunch, she paused mid-sentence. "What if we didn't come here alone?" she murmured. Daniel laughed again, a habit forming. "Who else would be here?" She didn't answer. That night, the wind stopped entirely. The ocean below was unnaturally still, a black mirror reflecting nothing. At 2:17 a.m., Daniel woke again. This time, Clara was sitting upright in bed, facing him, watching. "How long have you been awake?" he asked, voice thick. Her reply came slowly. "You've been talking in your sleep." "What did I say?" She hesitated. "You kept apologizing." The word lodged in his throat. "For what?" "You said you didn't mean to push me." Daniel felt his stomach drop. "Push you?" Clara's expression shifted, confusion, bleeding into something darker. "I dreamed we were standing on the cliff," she whispered. "And you were behind me." The room felt smaller. "I would never." "I know," she said quickly. Too quickly, but she didn't lie back down. By the third night, they avoided mentioning it. They avoided the cliff. They avoided each other's eyes. Subtle changes crept in like damp through walls. Clara's reflection, sometimes like a second behind her, movement in the mirror, just enough to feel wrong. Daniel began hearing footsteps outside their door at night. Slow, deliberate, pausing directly in front of their suite. When he opened the door, the hallway was always empty. On the fourth evening, the hotel manager knocked. An older woman with an unreadable smile. "Everything comfortable?" she asked. Daniel nodded. Clara said nothing. The manager's eyes lingered on Clara. "You're adjusting well." "To what?" Daniel asked. The woman's smile widened slightly. "To the version of each other you didn't see before." Daniel felt a surge of irritation. What does that mean? But she was already walking away. That night, the power went out. No storm, no warning, just darkness swallowing the suite whole. Daniel reached for his phone, no signal. No service since they'd arrived. But now even the time display flickered and died. Clara began to breathe faster. "It's happening again," she whispered. "What is?" "The dream. We're not dreaming." A soft sound came from outside the balcony doors. Knuckles against glass. 3 slow taps. Daniel's heart pounded against his ribs. He stepped toward the curtains. Clara grabbed his wrist. "Don't." Another 3 taps. Softer this time. Like patience. He pulled the curtain back. Nothing. Just the cliff. The endless dark ocean. But in the faint reflection of the glass, Daniel saw them standing together on the balcony. Only the reflected Daniel was slightly closer to Clara, and the reflected Clara was leaning forward, as if falling. He spun around. They were both still inside. Clara's eyes widened. "You saw it too." The tapping stopped. Silence returned, heavier than before. Then Clara spoke words that didn't sound like her own. "What if only one of us checked in?" Daniel stared at her. The memory surfaced like something breaking through ice. At reception, when they'd arrived, the clerk had handed him a single room key. Enjoy your stay, she'd said. We'll see which of you remains. He had thought it was an odd joke. Now it felt like a warning. Clara stepped backward, slowly toward the balcony doors. Sometimes I think, she said quietly, that I didn't marry you. Daniel's breath hitched. What are you talking about? I think I married the version that stayed. The balcony doors creaked open on their own. Cold air flooded the room, and Daniel understood something he hadn't allowed himself to consider. The cliff path, the way Clara had walked near the edge. The argument they'd had, small, stupid, about the future. The brief moment where frustration had flashed through him like heat. A hand at her back. A stumble. A scream swallowed by wind. His mind had buried it. The hotel hadn't. The tapping hadn't come from outside. It had come from memory. Clara stood at the open balcony now, tears sliding silently down her face. You said you didn't mean to push me, she whispered. Daniel stepped forward, shaking. I didn't, but the reflected version in the glass, the one only he could see, placed both hands firmly on her shoulders. And this time, there was no wind, no scream, only the soft sound of something hitting water far below. Morning light filled the suite. Hotel staff knocked gently. Sir, checkout time. Daniel sat alone on the edge of the bed. 2 suitcases, 1 room key on the nightstand. No sign of Clara. The staff offered him a sympathetic smile as he passed through the lobby. Some couples, the manager said softly, discover the truth about themselves here. Outside, the ocean was calm again. Still, Daniel glanced back at the balcony of their suite. For just a second, he saw Clara standing there, not accusing, not angry, just waiting, and he couldn't tell whether she was waiting for him to confess or to join her. If the hotel only reveals what already exists inside you. Did Daniel push Clara once, or has he been falling every night since they arrived?